Good day, boys and girls. How are you? Today we are going to read Christmas for the Snowmen by Wolfram Hanel. And it was illustrated by Uli Waas. All right? It was Christmas Eve and bitterly cold. One lonely street lamp cast a pale light in the dusk. Beneath it, 3 snowmen stood shivering. "It certainly is cold tonight," said Jimmy, adjusting the pot on his head. "Yes, sir, it certainly is cold," echoed Jack. Junior giggled.
"You have an icicle on your nose, Jack," he said. "You look silly."
"It's not funny," said Jack. Maybe if we move around a little, we'll warm up," Jimmy said. "Good idea," Jack agreed.
"Oh, all right,"
said Junior. Jimmy headed off, the pot on his head jiggling with each step he took. Jack and Junior followed him. Down the street they went, across the marketplace, and up to the bridge. Trees looked like black shadows along the banks of the river. The moon cast a silvery glow on the ice. "Beautiful," said Jack. "Yes, sir, beautiful," said Jimmy.
"But I'm still freezing,"
grumbled Junior. The snowmen stood and admired the frozen river. A crow called overhead. "Oh, oh, oh!" "You try, boys and girls. Oh, oh, oh!" Good job. And muffled church bells rang in the distance. Ding, dong, ding, dong, ding, dong. "Why are the church bells ringing?" asked Junior. "Because it's Christmas Eve," said Jack. "Did you forget?" "Of course I didn't," said Junior. "Who would have forgotten?" "Listen up," said Jimmy. "Why don't we go to church too? We could join in the singing." Jimmy led the way. A warm beam of light shone through the church windows. Jimmy smiled happily as he pulled open the big door. Eagerly, the snowmen tried to push their way in, but the church was packed with people, and there was no room for them. "Oh, we're too late," Jimmy said sadly. "Yes, we're too late." "Now what?" said Jimmy. "Now what?" said Junior. Across the street was a restaurant. "Look!" cried Junior, pointing to the sign outside the door. "Tonight, Christmas Eve special," Jimmy read aloud. "Come on, let's go in," said Jack. "I'm starving." Jimmy, Jack, and Junior marched into the restaurant and sat down at the table in the corner. There was Christmas music playing. La 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 la. The host was telling stories, much like what we're doing now. And the guests were all laughing and having fun. "Very nice," said Jimmy, taking off his pot. "Yes, sir, very nice indeed," said Jack. "Uh-oh," said Junior quietly. "What's the worst thing that can happen to a snowman?" "Why, melting, of course," Jack replied. "You know that." "Oh, that's what I was afraid of," said Junior, pointing under the table. "Oh no," Jack cried. "Let's get out of here," said Jimmy, grabbing his pot and running out of the restaurant. Jack and Junior followed close behind. Soft lights glowed in all the windows. Jimmy, Jack, and Junior were once again alone in the empty streets. A freezing wind whipped around the corners and above them. Stars twinkled in the cold winter sky. The only sound was the crunch the snowmen made as they walked. Suddenly, Jimmy stopped short. "This is terrible," he declared. "It's Christmas Eve, and we're miserable. It's so cold and lonely out here. But inside, where everyone else is celebrating, it's too warm for us. What if we freeze to death? Wailed Junior. Oh, don't be silly. Snowmen can't freeze to death, Jack replied. The snowmen stared at each other, sadly. Suddenly, a door flew open, and a light shone across their path. Two children who had seen the snowmen from their window came rushing outside. There they are, shouted the boy. Will you look at that? The big one is wearing a pot for a hat. And that one has an icicle hanging off his nose, said the girl. Come, let's fill up the street with snowmen. Before long, other doors flew open, and more children came running out into the street. Tirelessly, they rolled snowball after snowball, ran to get carrots and straw hats, a coal for the eyes, and giant pots and buckets. Their hands were blue with cold, and they puffed on them as they headed back home. Now, there were 20 snowmen on the street, smiling at each other. They gathered closer and rubbed their stomachs and together to warm up. This is more like it, declared Jimmy. There are so many of us, Junior said in amazement. More than enough for a real Christmas celebration, said Jack. Merry Christmas to all, Jimmy said. Then he waved his broom and led all the snowmen as they sang Christmas carols together. Suddenly, very quietly, it started to snow. First, just a couple of flakes drifted down, but soon the air was filled with swirling snow. And the snowmen laughed and danced and made merry long into the night. It was still snowing the next morning. Children rushed into the streets calling, Merry Christmas! They built more snowmen. Then, with Jimmy, Junior, and Jack standing happily in the middle, they all joined in the snowman's Christmas celebration. The end. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that story. So until next time, have a good day. Good day. Bye.